Hi, I'm Keaton, and I am the director and cinematographer for our music video Now.
Hi, I'm Matthew. I'm Eunith. I wrote the song Now.
All right, so today's mini podcast is once again to talk about the entire production from concept, filming, editing for this whole music video. And also, if you're watching our video podcast, I want you to keep in mind that I will be adding behind-the-scenes footage, exclusive footage, just for this little podcast, so that whenever you hear this sound, that means I'm showing some exclusive footage. So keep an ear out for that, and you'll get some sneak peeks.
That's actually news to me. I did not know that was happening either. Now I'm more excited about this.
Yeah. It'll be great. Okay, so to start things off, we're going to talk about pre-production. The time between the concept and filming this video was so short.
I think less than a week. I think, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it was definitely less than a week. It's the fastest. It's the hardest you've ever stepped on the gas, I like to say, because you're very good at stepping on the gas. It's actually one of my favorite qualities about you is that you don't lag on things like this. And we discussed, what day of the week was it? Maybe a Monday?
Yeah, it was early in the week for sure.
And then I think you were hitting record on that Thursday or that Friday.
I believe it was a Friday. Yeah, and we met early that week. Might have been a Tuesday, I'm not sure, but we met without any idea or concept whatsoever. We just had the song, and we knew it was very heavy with vocals and guitar, and so we just had that for our inspiration. So in the beginning, we were thinking maybe it could be very abstract, and we can show like these dramatic angles of your guitar and make it, that direction, or we can make it a performance music video, which I brought up, which made you kind of question me because in the past I had told Matthew that I'm kind of against performance music videos, but to clarify, it's more so the performance music videos where it's just the band like on a stage, and it seems like a live performance that was recorded very nicely.
I wouldn't say that you're against it. It's more that you've done it enough times now that if you wanted to undertake a new project for a new music video, that you would rather continue to diversify the things you've created.
So after listening to the song a few times, I felt it would be most appropriate to make this a performance music video, but with a bit of creativity and playfulness and anything that I could do to complement the energy of the song. I felt that was the direction I wanted to take it. So there's moths out here. We're out in the wild, by the way. You might see some critters crawling across the ground.
Real ecosystem stuff.
Anything goes out here. So we had a few days to prepare for this music video, which didn't really intimidate me that much because I knew I wanted to use whatever was convenient and available to us. So I decided that we were going to film the entire music video within the property here. So it takes place in 3 different areas, essentially. The first area being here out in the front of the house. The second area being inside the house in the dining room. And the third area being behind the house in the alleyway.
Sketchy.
And then we have all the cutaway shots of the Now different fonts in various locations that I did on the side after we finished filming.
If you had to enumerate that, how many locations would you guess? I mean, you might need to have to guess. You might know. How many?
I don't know the exact number, but it's close to 30.
Okay, that's what I thought. I would have guessed
between
that
like 24 and 30, I'd say.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So add those locations too, like micro locations, I guess.
Yeah, and I think before we actually started filming, there were just a couple things in pre-production that we had to do. So I had to create this prop behind us that is covering the address of the house, and I just went to Michael's, bought some sheets of foam, white and black, and cut out the letters and glued it on, and gaff taped it over the address sign, which was pretty simple. I don't think we had any other props besides the other pre-made letters that we put in the dining room scene that we have behind Matthew on the shelf there. All we had to do was think of the outfits you're going to be wearing, so we had to have different outfits for each scene, so we made sure to make each one unique in its own way, but kind of tied in to make it all cohesive.
Yeah, I think a big part of this song is that it is less heavily produced than the other songs thus far, and it is less heavily produced than the other songs that will be being released after it as well. It's it's very raw in comparison to those. So to go through the trouble of doing, special effects or as much lighting and narrative storytelling as we did in either of the two previous videos would have been mismatched with how the song actually is. I think that was a big part, is like whatever we're showing of me, whatever we're showing of locations, needs to feel like it is just as raw, or it is just as quick and in the moment as most of the song feels, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I think we can go ahead and jump right into production, the day of filming, and just describe the entire day from start to finish.
Yep.
So we have a lot of lights out here that we had set up. We have my Nova right here that's lighting up the house so that we can see some detail.
Yep.
We have this spotlight back here, my 300X with a Fresnel mount, just blasting light. It is the brightest light I own.
It is so powerful. It is.
Yeah, it is pretty far away.
So powerful.
It's probably 30 feet away, and it's lighting us up
Look at us.
as if it's right next to us. And then we have a light, my Aperture B7 in the porch light right there, and another one in the street light right in front of us, all of which can be controlled from my phone very conveniently.
I know. That's
which
the best.
Which came in handy when we had to animate the lights to pulse.
Yep.
For the choruses of the song.
I mean, we actually cued the lights to be engaged right before the verse starts, even after the intro. So yeah,
Yes.
even before then, there were lighting cues all over this thing.
Yeah. So before we actually talk about the lighting cues, let's talk about what we had to do before you even started singing the song. I wanted something that matched the upbeat energy of the beginning of the song, so I thought of the sequence where Matthew's running down the street with his guitar in hand, making his way to this exact spot right here. So how did that go?
It was a lot of testing how far we wanted to be from this spot and how fast I should be running for you to keep up with the camera, for Ryan to keep up with an additional lighting source that he had, and so that my running didn't look unnatural, so that it actually looked like a pace at which I might run and then stop in front of the house as well. We had to have tried like 8 times or so, and then we finally marked, visually, we told ourselves, all right, the house that's this many down with there's a hedge right next to it and then a tree.
It was the pink house.
The pink door house. There's not like a fully
house.
pink house here. I wish, like Grand Budapest Hotel down the street. The pink door house. Yes, that was the one. And we said, okay, we're going to start right there, and then we're going to run, and we needed to make sure that we were running right before the actual song started, so that there's not this moment when you hear the song beginning that I got to start running. Like I'd already be in motion doing it. But it was a lot of exercise, and it was great. I feel like it was rougher on you, though, because you had to not just run like I was doing, but you had to kind of hunch with the camera.
At first I was considering using Matthew's gimbal for this to make it more smooth and professional looking, but I felt like just the classic handheld look gave it the energy that it needed. So I did that for the whole way down the street, and I needed a low angle to really capture what I was going for. So I had to run while hunching down at the same time. And it was a little bit difficult, but I think, like you said, at most maybe 8 tries.
Yeah.
It was probably the most critical, like timing critical sequence that we had to do throughout the entire music video, just because we had to cover this distance and reach your spot, your mark, and have the lighting cue turn on right in time.
Oh, that was the other part, exactly, because even if we did time it right, we had to make sure that the light would react fast enough to the app that was controlling it, and that when I started playing and singing, I didn't just, mess up, like I didn't just have a brain fart and forget, like, oh my gosh, where am I on the guitar?
Ambient street noises.
Enjoy the sounds of the neighborhood at night. There's still way more traffic than I think either of us expected at this hour in this neighborhood, but I guess that's the 21st century for you.
Before we talk about the inside or the alleyway shots, there was one more shot, the final shot, one of the final shots of the music video, where you finish your last line of the song and the lights go off and the camera just breaks away from this scene.
Yep.
And that was a lot of fun because I had this vision where the camera just goes down the street and then it transitions back to the alley. And the way we did this is we had Ryan again by my side with the light so that I can have some detail showing in the asphalt of the street. But we got a little happy surprise.
Yes.
As the camera, bugs are hitting me. As the camera breaks away from this scene, we see down the street just a stranger's car.
Yep.
The headlights shining directly into the camera, and it looks so cool. And I just go with it. I don't hesitate. I'm just like, yes, this looks great.
The shot.
Let's go with it. And that was the one and only take for that specific shot. And
that was the only take, yeah, because once we looked it over really quickly, we just thought, wow, I mean, how could we ask for more? I mean, we would have had to purposefully stage something like another car being there. And the pacing, the speed at which you and Ryan running together with the camera and light worked, it's just like you were right in sync from the get-go that no need to do it again. We got really lucky.
Yeah. So after that, we took down all the lights that we had up here in the front yard, and we brought the lights that we needed for the alleyway scene. We filmed that second, and that was a fun one to do because
that was awesome.
It was very stylized, or dramatic, I might say.
Yeah.
We had 2 light stands going across the street, connected by a pole that I used to hang my softbox directly over Matthew, and it created just like this very dramatic overhead light.
Oh yeah.
That looked very cool. For that
it
scene,
kind of reminded me of like a Michael Jackson Dirty Diana, or let me think who else, like Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody video where they're all like lit from the front. Although I'm not like with 3 other people or something like that. You know, it's my whole body. But yeah, it's that effect. It's just so dramatic. I love it.
Yeah, that was a very fun scene because we had a very unique camera angle that we used for the guitar solo.
Yes.
And the way we did this is I had a clamp that my camera can be attached to, and the clamp can be attached to your guitar.
Attached to anything, really.
Yeah, anything
you clamp
within its range.
The clamps!
The clamps! Constant joke every time that word comes up.
We made that joke like 50 times over the course of this video, but anyway, sorry.
Yeah, so all we did is I clamped my camera to the head of your guitar.
Yep.
Pointing down towards the other end. And during that guitar solo, we wanted to have some fun lighting effects going on. And the way we did this is I had a few of my Nanlite tube lights. I think just 2 of them, and we had Austin and Ryan waving them around like lightsabers.
Yep.
And Manu was there supporting the guitar because it was heavy, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, so it was already a light guitar. The guitar that you see in the video that is the teal color is a very light guitar in general. I got it years ago because I am not a very strong person in the shoulders. I'm just not built that way. So light guitars are a godsend for me. So I had always had that guitar because it was so light and so easy to wear. But when you put like a full camera with the lens on the end of the guitar, it makes it so top heavy that it just was to slide down. And if I was just faking like I was playing some chords, it would have been easy to, hold it up. But I was supposedly playing like this guitar solo closer to the body of the guitar, so I have this big weight far away from me that's pulling down the entire time. So Manu, yes, had to help by just with one hand lifting a little bit of the headstock of the guitar as I moved around and played the solo, and it was so silly.
Yeah, but it became so much easier once we kind of flipped it 180 and put the camera on the opposite end of the guitar, and you had no issue playing it that way.
Yeah, no, not at all. That's so much easier because so much of my body is there. Like, I'm right there with the body of the guitar anyway. That's where all of my meat is. And the weight being down there just made so much more sense because as I am playing with the other hand, I can like use my thumb and push down a little bit on the neck if I want, and I can act more like my own balancing system on it as opposed to the other way. Yeah, that one was way more comfortable. And just a quick note that if you ever want to try this technique, please put foam between the clamp and whatever surface you're doing. Keaton, had some great foam layer that went between the clamp and my guitar was virtually unscathed. Like no dent mark, no crack in the lacquer, no damage whatsoever. I mean, that's the one thing that I know a lot of people with their instruments can be a little bit afraid of, is putting them in risky situations like that. But this turned out beautifully. So it was called cribbing, right?
It is called cribbing. I was about to say, like, fun fact, in the grip world, that's actually called cribbing.
Yeah.
It's done more so when you're attaching lights to, like, wood beams across ceilings so that you're not crunching into the wood beams and causing permanent damage that way.
Exactly.
But I figured it's the same concept. Might as well apply it to this situation with your guitar, and it worked flawlessly.
Yeah, it's so good. I'll crib everything from here on out. Everything in my life is getting cribbed. MTV Cribs is coming back, guys. There's another season finally.
And there's one final detail I want to talk about from the alleyway scene, and that is in the background we have headlights.
Yes.
This seems like so, like, how did you do that? Like, did you, like, block off the entire alley and, like, get this all to yourselves? Well, as we were setting up for this whole sequence, occasionally we would have strangers try to drive through the alleyway from the background.
Which usually, by the way, in my alley never happens. Like, that usually never happens. The fact that a couple people tried to do it while we were setting up was like, what is this? The one day a year where multiple people are trying to come down this alley? Like, they don't do that, like, normally. That's why we felt so confident beforehand, saying, let's film in the alleyway, because it'll totally be available to us and we don't have to worry about anything. So this was weird to begin with.
Yeah, and as it was happening, they were leaving, and I noticed on camera I was kind of recording at the same time, and
testing.
I was testing, and on camera it looked really good to have those lights behind Matthew in the background, and I kind of said that out loud, but I didn't think twice about it. And then fortunately Manu was there, like, hey, I could put my car there. Yeah, I'll do it. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, and it was perfect because her car almost served not just for the lights there, but as like a stop for other people in the alley, that if they were to turn down the alley and see her car there, parked near the end-ish, I live near the end-ish of the alley, they would know, like, okay, well, I can only go that far. If I was trying to cut through here, I better not. I better, take another one in.
Let's talk about real quick the dining room scene, how that was, and how late it was, because it was late.
Yeah, so we, I don't know, for some reason we did drag a little bit in between some scenes on this video, and I think that it was my desire or my discomfort with how heavy the guitar was on my shoulder in the alley, and having to put like fabric and then an oven mitt right there to like soften how heavy it was with the camera, that ate up more time than we expected for the first two scenes. That by the time we had finally reached the dining room scene, I think it was like 11:55. We were like, oh boy, it's happening. We're going to be working past midnight on this. Yeah,
and I was really trying to be considerate of everyone's time. So when we were setting up this scene and getting ready to film, I'm just like, okay, I know exactly what to do. Mm-hmm. I'm going to trigger the lighting cues myself as I'm filming. I just want to do this, like, one take for the wide shot, one take for the close-up, and then we get a bonus take for the guitar close-ups. And I think that's exactly how it went. It was extremely quick. I'm very positive we didn't do multiple takes, because it was just done and over with in no time.
Yeah, that was surreal, because we had also moved the table that is usually in my dining room, and you and I had taken a pendant light that I usually have in the dining room, and we had like maneuvered it to swing up and clamped it to the ceiling via the air conditioning vents, so that it would be out of the way and not hanging like at the height of my head. I mean, they're only 8-foot ceilings, so it's not like they're way up in the sky, they would have been right there, like next to my head. So it was weird to be in my dining room like that, because it's almost like an empty part of my house that is never empty.
Yeah.
And then by the time that we were done with it and we got all the shots, we just looked at our clocks. I think it did take an hour though, once we did it, or once we got everything ready. We were like, oh, it's 12:50, it's almost 1 a.m., but we did it.
Yeah, and I'll just talk real quick for anyone who's curious about the lighting setup in that scene. We had 2 lights total for that scene. We had one of my Nanlite pivot tubes above Matthew hanging from the curtain rod. It's just out of frame, you cannot see it, but it's creating that white light behind Matthew on the curtains. And then the second light is my 300X in the kitchen. It was set to a tungsten color, so it's very warm and yellow. And I just had that pulsing during the choruses, just like it was here in the front yard. let's talk about one more thing, and then we'll jump into editing. I want to just briefly talk about the different fonts that flash throughout the music video. I thought those were a lot of fun to film and show off because I had my friend Jocelyn, who owns a machine called a Glowforge, which is essentially a laser cutting machine. You put these sheets of whatever material it works with, and you input your design. So I created a Photoshop document with 20 or so different fonts of the word now, and then she cut those out for me, and I spray painted them. So it was made out, the material was wood, first of all, just basic wood. I'm sure it's not that basic. I'm sure it has a name. I'm not familiar with all the
poplar,
pine,
balsa.
I spray painted all those pieces white, and then I filmed each different font in a unique background / setting. And I did this all in one weekend, super quick, all around my house, within walking distance, if anything. And I think one of my favorite ones would be the second one with the mirror.
The mirror, yeah.
Reflecting the sky and the palm tree. I think I put all my favorites near the beginning, so you should know. Those ones are my favorites.
I like the oven. I do, because to me it's a very non-obvious place, and it was one of the ones that when I saw it, I had to think for a second, like, wait, what am I? Oh my gosh, this is an oven.
Yeah, I thought having all those different backgrounds and environments made the video more fun and kind of gave people something to kind of pick out as they're watching, like, oh, this one, I like this one the most, or oh, is that, it kind of makes them think more rather than just being a basic performance music video. There's this added element of discovery.
Yeah, I mean, discovery and discussion. I mean, to which point, anybody watching this, let us know what was your favorite instance of the letters now in one of the settings. I would love to know, because we actually, like the crew, we all talked about it once we saw the final product. We all were like, I like this one, I like this one. Like, we all talked about it too. So we would love to know everyone's favorite instance of now.
Comment down below what your favorite now is.
Or if YouTube ever changes their UI, here to just to future-proof this, comment somewhere.
All right, last thing we can talk about is post-production.
Yep.
And I took the reins on this one. I did all the work, which is fine. I wanted to anyways. There wasn't really anything that I needed your help with, but I did need your feedback and your critique before calling this thing final. And I finished it, the first draft, and I thought it was great. I was happy with it. And I sent it over to Matthew, and you had some critiques. What were you feeling about it?
It's not, I wasn't ripping it. I wasn't shredding it. No. Okay. I just wanted to know, because I know that you know so much about editing, and you know so many techniques when editing a video, that when somebody would say, like, how can I make this feel more adjective, that you would actually know a technique to make that happen, as opposed to saying, okay, cool, that's not a thing in the video world, right? So the one thing I asked you is, I said, is there a way to make it feel a little more, and I think the word I used was energetic. I think I said, is there a way to make it feel a little more energetic? I want something to feel, I want parts to feel like there's more energy put into them somehow, or it to feel, I know I keep using the word, but it's just because there's so much lightly distorted guitar in this song. I think I've also said raw at some point, but nothing else like that. Like, we didn't say industry BS, like make it pop or something like that. Like, I don't say that stuff. I make sure to never say that to people. But I did say it more energetic. And you said, I think you were just like straight up, let me try something.
Yeah. I'm like, I'll get back to you tomorrow with an example.
Yep. And you did.
Yeah. So my solution for this, and I noticed specifically during the choruses and the guitar solo, that it just felt very untouched, and that more can be added to it. And that the energy level of the visuals during the first draft weren't quite as high as the song itself during the chorus and the guitar solo. So I figured, I'm sure there's some sort of effect or filter I can apply to this to make it match that energy. And I experimented a lot with the blending modes of the footage, And I knew that we were kind of going with the theme of yellow because we have your artwork to kind of inspire us for this video, like the others that we've done.
Cover art.
And the effect that I came up with is this. I don't have a name for it. I haven't really seen it much anywhere else, if I have seen it anywhere else. So it's kind of just like a new thing that I did, that I created, and it's kind of like a trail behind Matthew, or an echo. Echo, I think, is a good word for it.
Yeah.
And it's just the footage duplicated and layered on top of itself. And I think I used it might have been a lighten
like
blending mode, so that all the highlights,
color dodge. There's so many blending modes.
There's like
sometimes.
a dozen. But yeah, the lighten blending mode pretty much makes all the highlights show within the layer, and everything else that's darker is transparent and invisible. And I did that, and I duplicated the footage, and I added this jitter, this camera shake to it, so it had this extra energy that wasn't there before. And I also made it yellow. I forgot to circle back to the whole the concept art and all that. So I made it yellow, I made it shake, and I made the camera animate to zoom in and rotate and zoom out during the chorus. And I thought that was like the perfect solution. And it made the music video feel so much better than it did before.
It feels like you're in motion while watching it too, and like I'm perpetually in motion, even if I'm not like running or something in the parts when I'm playing. Like it feels like we've still kept momentum throughout it, in like a physics concept actually.
Yeah. And then for the guitar solo, I decided to have these more echo effects that jumped out towards the camera that seemed to be everyone's favorite throughout the videos.
Yeah, they really liked it.
Throughout the whole video, they loved seeing. I also added an additional color, so I color picked the guitar itself. So it's what color is the guitar?
Well, what the manufacturer
Teal.
called it was aqua. But I mean, it's teal, turquoise. I mean, you know, that's the big wide world of colors. But yes, what Dan Electro called it when I bought it was aqua.
Yeah, so I mixed that in with the guitar solo effects that I applied there. My favorite part, I think, in the whole video is the very end of the guitar solo when we have the effects are trailing behind your fingers.
Yes.
Unlike any other part of the music video, it's very unique to that moment, and I think it looks so awesome. And then we have that smooth transition out into the front of the house scene where it pans down seamlessly back here to the front yard from the alley.
Yeah, just very like slot machine inspired, just like no. But I love that. I love that sequence in there. It feels like the pacing of the energy build in the song is really matched well by the video right then. I was so happy. To see that part. I was like, yes, let's go.
And that was also planned out before we even started filming. I knew I wanted that transition. It was in the shot list. So.
That's not just like a digital blur or something. No. Like the way that those were shot was you came down like into focus on me playing here, and then when we finally went into the alley, whatever we ended on, you move the camera down. It was.
All right, well, this is another one for the books, our third music video that we've done together, and we have quite a few more ahead of us. We already have the concept of the next one planned out that I'm very excited for. It's going to be a lot of work, but it's going to be worth it in the end for the entertainment.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it. To that end, if you are watching this, that must mean that you really care about the process, or you just really like us and the sound of our voices, which that's crazy. Thank you. But if you ever are interested in helping and you live in the Central California area or Kern County specifically, leave a comment, send us a message, a DM. Some of the future concepts will benefit from having additional people involved as well. And we are a small team usually. Like we're a small team. We're not like a big, army going in there. We're not a big machine.
We're a team of 2 with a bunch of volunteers.
Yes, we are. Man, you are a commander 1 with, I am privileged to be a part of your visions. And then we have wonderful friends who volunteer for us, who we are forever grateful toward. Yep.
And with that, thank you for watching. Be sure to stay subscribed so that you can see the next video.
Yeah.
The next music video. And I leave you with this bonus behind the scenes clip. Enjoy.
You know I ain't never asked for this thug life. This thug life chose me.
Fast and Furious 16.
I was never meant to be a rapper. I was only meant to be a visionary. Yeah. We ain't do this stuff because we want to do it. We do this stuff because we gotta do it. What I've been telling people since day one is don't doubt me. Don't doubt me. Don't doubt my homies. Don't doubt the fact that after you do a couple spins... Hey, hold up, whoa, slow down. Hey, easy, hold on.